Hello, everyone, and welcome to Curated Clinical. I am Dr. Allison Mathews, and I'm here with some of my best friends.
I'm Alex.
Marcus.
And we are Curated Clinical. We're here to talk to you about the science and break down health information from the Black perspective. Let's get into it.
All right.
All right, folks. So, how did we get?
How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Did we talk about the origin
I
story?
think,
Well,
yeah.
2010, 2011. We
That's-
gotta go
We
back.
still don't know the year.
So this is the thing, right? Like I started as a volunteer.
So let's
With
first address.
Mr.
This
Durham.
is for we are all researchers, and we
Yes.
all met at a
Yeah.
research
Project.
project called Links
Links
to
to
Durham.
Durham.
There we go.
Shout out to Links to Durham.
Yes, it was housed at North Carolina Central University,
Miller
where I
Morgan.
am a proud alumni. Where some here decided they wanted to transfer after their first year.
Oh no.
What? I transferred from North Carolina Central?
I thought you did.
No! You went to A&T
I
and
did go
transferred.
to, okay. Whoa.
I took classes at North Carolina Central after I graduated from Hampton.
We don't even know our own origin story.
I thought you transferred to Hampton.
No!
I don't know why I always
I
thought
don't-
that.
Okay,
You've
so
always thought that.
I am so sorry.
Bruh.
okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So we met at Links to Durham.
Yeah.
It was not just a study at North Carolina.
I know
Central,
it wasn't.
because
It-
I
it was
was
also.
from Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was a collaboration between Chapel Hill, Durham County Health Department,
Yeah.
FHI 360, and North
North
Carolina
Carolina
Central
Central
University.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were at North Carolina Central, and we met. I think you were like a senior
Yeah.
in college.
I was a senior.
And I was in grad school in my PhD program for sociology at UNC Chapel Hill. And so we all started on this project, and it was focused on addressing kind of community engagement for preparing for HIV clinical trials to develop medicine that would prevent HIV.
Which is wild because now we have
Prep.
PrEP and all this good stuff, and we were talking about this in like a concept
Yeah.
That's
back
crazy,
then.
So this actually started like when Facebook had just maybe was around for maybe 2 or 3 years. Twitter had just gotten started.
Yes,
I don't even think we had Instagram yet.
No, because
we
Instagram came out in
It did.
2011,
You want to know
2012.
what my first Instagram post is?
What?
You at the office at Links to Durham. You were legit my first post because I got an iPhone. Because it wasn't on
Oh, because
Android.
it wasn't on Android yet. Because I
right?
had an Android at the time and I couldn't get
Oh.
Yeah,
Instagram.
you could get Instagram. So I got an iPhone, and Marcus was legit my first post on Instagram.
Dang, I feel
Oh, wow.
special.
Yeah.
I
With
don't even
Post-it
remember
notes.
what mine was. I think it was like a picture of me in the bed or something like, or
Something
like picture of a
introspective
fan
and
or something like
something poetic.
You know what mine was? Mine was we were at the Haiti Heritage Center for something with, it might have been the World AIDS Day.
Yeah.
But we were sitting on the top balcony, I
Mhm.
think, and that's when I just decided to get
Oh.
IG. And I think it was like, I was sitting beside
At work,
one or both
we
of
were
y'all.
supposed to be working, and you were like,
We
"You know
were
what I could
we were
do?"
making sure the program was going well from
We
the
were
top
doing-
level,
we
you
did
know,
our
from the
jobs.
balcony. We were doing our jobs. You know, we just
Outreach, community outreach,
Yeah.
social.
So what I loved about that project was that, and I really think it laid the groundwork for a lot of the work that we have been doing for our careers, really.
Mhm.
Meeting and building relationship with community, and not making any decisions without them.
Yes,
Mhm.
I think that's gone a very, very, very long way
Yeah.
for us.
And so we met with different stakeholders to try to develop trust around clinical trials and get their feedback on like how do we want to roll this out. Like if there were to be some new medicine that now everybody
Yeah.
kind of knows about,
Everybody
PrEP.
knows, but yeah. How
what-
would that affect
how
your
would we
like
do
your
it?
your
Yeah.
sex life, your social life?
Yeah.
Those focus groups were probably some of my favorites.
But see, I want us to like let's dive
Okay.
into that a little bit more, right? Because I think that was the baseline for me, right? Like this was a community participatory research project, right? I had never.
Ooh.
It's a mouthful,
You better
but I had
throw it out.
Yes, I forgot.
no. I feel like I mention this all the time because, as you said, welcomes the community into a process that I don't think a lot of traditional research does, right? And so since this was my first official like research experience, it gave me insight into it differently than just coming in from a more traditional way of research. And so, like, you know, excuse my French, but people were using the term coming in and raping the community, right?
Gosh.
And so
that wasn't not the French I thought you were going to say.
Didn't know that's what you were
well, I mean, I'm just, you know, but
You're supposed to say trigger.
Oh, sorry, trigger warning. You know, get me right. But I think that's what it was, right? So I use that all the time now when I'm thinking about community engagement. Like, I don't want to go into a community and just get what I need, and I can't learn from that community. I think there's a shared or mutual learning that has to take place, because these are people and we've talked about this several times, lived experience, you know? And so, like, coming from a background of all of us having, you know, worked in the HIV research field, like, there's people who are living with HIV, right? I don't live with HIV. You all don't live with HIV. So it's like, I gotta learn from you. Like, I can give you some of the resources that I have and all of those things, but like, there has to be this shared learning, which I think I know that's where I got my foundation from, you know what I'm saying? And so like, I contribute a lot of what I've done over the past 10, 12 years to working with you all and learning about, you know, community participatory research projects, right? And how that's done. But yeah, I think it's a much better, richer way of doing research in my eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And so, like, even since that project, I've had the, I guess, good fortune to be able to use a lot of those principles to work with scientists from all over the world. I remember going to this summit. It was a think tank in South Africa with Kate McQueen, who was the PI of the study. PI meaning principal investigator, lead of the research study.
Educate.
Yeah. So Kate McQueen invited me to be a part of this think tank to think about how do we involve community in the clinical trial process in sub-Saharan Africa, right? I mean, in developing kind of new ideas, new approaches, developing guidelines that were informed by community. So it's really something that you could apply across the board. It doesn't matter if it's HIV or cancer or diabetes. And what I've also learned is that outside of HIV, it's the community-based CBPR is not really used as much as it has been in the HIV space. I'm like coming in there like, have you thought about talking to the community? They're like, oh, that's a great idea.
Who's going to do it? Who's going to talk to them? Right. You're Black, talk to them.
I mean, literally.
Do it for us.
That's wow. But I feel like when I came on, you know, you all have been in it for a while. I'm the outsider, so to me, it was brand new anyway. And so I thought it was a newer way of approaching research. It may not be, but I'm just thinking that's what I kind of came into.
It may have been new at that time, but I guess that was like over 10 years ago.
To hear that people are still not engaging with community on that level is kind of actually sad.
Yeah, it is.
Well, excuse me. That just came out. So the FDA actually is now requiring the researchers, pharmaceutical companies, any type of clinical trial to actually have plans for how you're going to integrate diversity into your recruitment efforts. It not necessarily to the point of saying you're required to do community engagement, but that is where I believe that community advocates are hugely important in that process, because it took community advocates to even push for them to require or to strongly suggest diversity plans, and to say, and then COVID was a huge catalyst for that, because the FDA prior to that did not have this like requirement for diversity plans, but they recognized that we couldn't solve the problem of COVID without making sure that we had representation from different groups.
True.
Yeah, and just speaking on our experience and how we've been able to grow from that, just the company that we all developed, literally in the title, Community Expert Solutions. We became experts, modestly, humbly.
Own that.
No, we still have to be modest. We still have to be modest because, we're only experts to the community when the community allows us to be in their space.
But also the idea of the name Community Expert Solutions is that the community is expert in their own experiences. And so that's, I think it's, yes, we are experts in community engagement, but also they are experts. And that's why we are partnered with community to develop any solutions that we create, or we work with a lot of research projects, research institutions across the country on different projects, and that's always the basis for everything that we do.
I mean, look, I guess I kind of go back to us from the beginning, right? Just the way that we ask people within our networks and community, hey, like, what do you think about these particular names, right? So we're going, like, it's not, the entire world or whatever, but it's people in our networks that we're going and saying, like, trusted people that we're going and saying, like, hey, we're thinking about doing this, or we're doing this. Like, how do you feel about these different names? So it's just like, it goes back to, your project, crowdsourcing different information from people. And, like, that's just something that I think that we naturally do. And because it's already built into the fabric of the company, it's just something that it's kind of resonated throughout,
So the first major project that we did was Digital Links.
Yes.
And that was an homage. R.I.P. I'm still very sad.
But before Links to Durham, y'all remember what the name was? Right Quick.
Right Quick!
Right Quick.
Before Digital Links.
Before Digital Links, we renamed it. Remember Digital Links, but it was called Right Quick. Right Quick.
I forgot about Right Quick.
Right Quick. And we was stuck on that day.
We were very, very pressed on Right Quick, and we had taglines for Right Quick. We were in it, and then somebody was like,
it was an attorney or somebody, right?
No, it was multiple people.
They were like, Right Quick is just not.
They felt like it was culturally responsive, but it was not corporate enough.
It wasn't it wasn't as professional. Yeah.
Because we were looking for funding and things. We wanted people to give us money. But Right Quick, we're gonna have to bring that back somehow.
And we said that too. We were like, we still need to incorporate Right Quick somewhere in the mix of things.
Like the tab Right Quick tab.
So Digital Links, the idea behind Digital Links was for us to make it easier for people living with HIV to access HIV medication assistance program applications, and make sure that people could access programs that would pay for the medication without them having to go through this arduous process of submitting paperwork. And I mean, they would still have to submit the paperwork, but we were trying to make it easier and culturally responsive and more user friendly for people. And it's funny because a lot of the conversations that we're having, that in work, that we work together, still we all work together, but in the conversations that I've had in government, they're still trying to figure this out. And it's funny to me. I mean, I think it's really kind of sad because we couldn't get the capital that we needed to build it in the way that we wanted to, and that is also just an ongoing issue for Black founders. We did crowdsource a lot of our funding, and we raised over $100,000, which was amazing, but
it's an expensive endeavor.
It just is so expensive, and like you have to have constant funding to iterate and to grow and develop, and then we couldn't figure out how to pay people to manage the platform and things like that. So it was a challenge for us. We continue to get some consulting contracts to pay for the platform, and then after a while, like especially during the pandemic, it was kind of like, all right, can we just pay ourselves for the work we're doing?
Yes. It was, R.I.P., but it lives strong in our hearts.
It does.
And I think it has still informed. I mean, I can attest that it has made my career better, and it has informed a lot of the other stuff that we've continued to do. So
I think there's pieces of the project. Like I always think that there's a learning opportunity in anything, and so I think there's pieces of links to Durham. Whoops, not links to Durham. Digital links.
I do that all the time.
Look,
Did you see me
links
take a
to
pause
Durham.
when
Digital links was paying homage to links to Durham.
yes,
That's why we use that. But no, like there's learnings in all of that stuff, and so like I see some of that now, in my current work. And so it's interesting to hear y'all say that the government is still
trying to
challenged with
buildings
those
are
same
still
things.
trying to talk to buildings that are asking the same things from citizens.
yes,
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, but again, I mean, and this is a whole other conversation. Like the funding piece, Black and brown founders just have a hard time securing the capital for whatever reasons. Yeah, there are some primary reasons, but
because we won micro grants, pitch
competitions. We got into the city accelerator, city county accelerator,
and we were finalists for some major accelerator programs as well. So I mean,
incubators and stuff.
Incubators, yeah. So I mean, it was a lot of promise, a lot of excitement behind it, but yeah, I mean, just the lack of. We are over mentored and underfunded.
Yeah, that's a word. Can that be the title of the podcast? Over mentored. Underfunded. That's it. That's why we're doing a free podcast. Who wants to sponsor us?
So now let's jump forward to what we're doing now.
It does let's see you do this.
Oh. I didn't know it did that.
And then
we
are so old. Look at the
It's not popping up for me.
You and Frederick are just not working. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I'm from Dallas, so that's why I had to represent Texas, even though I've been in North Carolina for 15 years.
All day.
I'm going to switch my shirt. Y'all go see it. I'll be in sync with them. Oh, by the way, I was repping North Carolina yesterday. So
you were?
I had a whole North Carolina shirt on.
Okay.
I didn't know I needed to wear it today.
I didn't.
I don't have anything North Carolina.
You got Dreamville. That's North Carolina.
Dreamville.
That's what makes me think of North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm in the middle. My bad.
Okay, so now, what are we doing today? Why are we here? How did we get here?
Oh, gosh, how did we get here?
How did we get here?
Curated Clinical.
We're here for Curated Clinical, right?
Firstly,
what is it?
I wanna just stop. The reason why we are here for the season is like 98% the thought and brainchild of Dr. Allison Mathews, because she just comes to us and like, I got this idea, y'all, and we're just like, I think that is
we should do it.
Let's have conversations and weekly meetings about it. But Allison is usually the one that has been able to suss out a need and say, like, this is how we can fit here. This is how our expertise fits here. So that need was bringing a higher
Did it do it?
Yes.
Oh my God, Alex is never gonna finish.
Is it gonna? Yep, there you go.
It did it.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
It's affirming me. So we are here, first because of Allison and her ingenuity. Two, we're here to bring more awareness to minority groups and education and a better understanding and what is like a comfort level to clinical and research trials. And all of her communications with pharmaceutical companies and research industries and things like that, they're still saying, hey, we can't recruit. Our recruitment sucks. Like, we can't get nobody. And when we do recruit people, it's just, oh gosh, edit
good
this
way
out.
To say it.
No, we only get the ranch-skinned people, but no.
Not ranch-skinned.
Oh my God! Cut it out. Cut it out.
The melanated, the non-melanated,
the melanated,
the melanin deficient,
the melanin deficient.
These folks need black and brown people in their research clinical trials.
Yes,
that's what that is.
Yes,
that's
because it's not just so.
But let's explain why.
Yeah.
Why do they need black and brown people in research?
Because our DNA is like, regardless of skin color, is very, very, very similar. But what is not similar are lived experiences, environmental health factors, occupational health factors that influence your health and how you may respond to treatment or medication, or if it's even feasible to do the treatment and things like that.
Yeah, and then also we have what they call, here's another vocab term, comorbidities. So meaning we have a lot of other health issues, like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, cancer, things like that, that actually make it harder for you to do research on a particular drug to see its effectiveness, because the way that they design clinical trials is they start with healthy volunteers who don't have any other health conditions. And so that tends to be biased toward white people who have access to medicine and doctors and healthy food and all, and preventative care and live in healthy neighborhoods and have low stress, right? And so they have the means to be able to participate and flexibility to be able to participate in a research study
that may happen during the day or over the weekend, whatever.
Right. And so they start with healthy volunteers to just see if the drug is safe and effective, and then like down the road, then they start to include people with other health conditions to see if it impacts them. But by that time, you have kind of biased the information on people who don't look like us.
Yes.
So that's why it's important for us to have black and brown folks.
Yeah, I feel like it would be interesting because I felt like that's where you were about to go. I'm glad you didn't, but like just going through the actual phases of a clinical trial, like because I think there's like 3 phases.
There's 4.
Or 4 phases now. Okay. So 4 phases.
Dr. Allison Mathews, y'all.
Right. Dr. Allison Mathews. Not 3, but 4. But I think when I was coming along, I feel like it was 3 or something like that. But anyway.
Don't try to validate yourself.
Huh? I'm just saying. I felt like that's what it, I wasn't doing huge research like that. But no, I mean, I feel like we should probably talk about that one day just to give people like a better understanding of what goes on. Because you said, like, I don't even know if I knew that they started out with healthy people as their like baseline, right? But then it kind of goes back to when you have researchers that tend to be non-melanated, right? Like what channels and avenues are they using to recruit these healthy people who a lot of times, like, there's so many different factors and variables involved, right? Like, okay, you're probably recruiting also non-melanated people that may be in your network, right? But how does that affect, us, right? Or how can that affect us?
Are we boring you?
No.
Just a little bit. Clearly, she done yawned 3 times while I was talking.
I'm so sorry. I'm just tired. We'll talk about my life in a different episode, but I'm just tired. My bad. I didn't bring coffee. No one offered me coffee.
That's a whole different episode about the phases, because there's phases before you get to phase 1 also,
which is all that's
it's a pre-party.
But I mean, I think the thing is the reason why we're here and why Curated Clinical is so important is because a lot of times what we have is PIs, principal investigators, who are non-melanated, so they're white a lot of times, and they don't necessarily have this connection, if you will, to these
trust.
and to the community, right? And so on the flip side, there's also distrust with the community, seeing these people come into the community and try to do research, right? Because there's been so much damage done historically right, in the medical system. And so we have to talk about those things, but that's why we're here. That's why Curated Clinical is needed for those things.
Yeah, I mean, so, and it's not just research, right? Like, we have systemic issues. This is where my sociology is going to come out at my Howard University training. He went to Hampton.
Hampton University. Hampton Institute University.
Anyway, so
it's HIU?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. It's HBCU love, y'all. It's HBCU.
We are all HBCU graduates, and we are doing the damn thing.
Love and understanding.
You acting up, though.
I didn't know it was HIU. Sorry.
All right, so I don't even know where I was going because I just got caught up in talking about the excellence of Howard University.
Sociology.
Oh,
and how it's bigger than
issues.
just
So, I mean, we have distrust of the government because of abuses that have happened there. We have distrust of medical system in general because, I mean, I just think about where we started, Durham, North Carolina, City of Medicine, and you have all these top-notch research institutions, and we also have huge health disparities, and we have gerrymandering in the state, and we have the highway system that cut through our neighborhoods and displaced our families and cut us off from food sources and transportation and jobs, right? And so this is a bigger issue, but we're just, we can't tackle all that, right? We can't solve all the problems for all the things, but so that's why we're just focused on this in particular, but you can't really address health disparities without also thinking about how it's a part of a larger system.
Absolutely.
And just getting us into that space. So what the future health looks like for our communities is better has our voice included, because it's still not included. It's a teensy bit better, and like you said, the FDA is trying to make this a requirement, but we still need a lot of help, and there's still a lot of scars to help us get to a place where we're a part of the conversation.
I'll say too, like, one of the interesting things, not so much lately because I'm less on the research side of things, but going to conferences and seeing people do presentations, whether it be like, the speaking presentations or oral presentations or like poster boards or whatever. The one thing that used to just like, I don't know, that I found so challenging and disparaging in some ways is the fact that I'm always at the bottom. So like if I'm looking at
talk about it, what do you mean?
So like if there's a research study going on, right? There's always like Black and brown people, so your Black community, African American community, and Latinx community in this country at least is always at the bottom, right? Disparities, like we have so many comorbidities, we have so many disparate health disparities, and so to sit in these conferences and know the research that I've been doing and all this stuff, and just to always hear that, like, you're at the bottom, you're like, that stuff can just be
it's demoralizing,
crazy and frustrating, because it's just like, well, how did we get here? And it's because of so many of those other factors that we can't necessarily always weigh in on here in this environment or whatnot, but know that those are contributing to so many of the disparities that we have, right? And it's just, I used to just sit in conferences and be like, until there was one conference that I went to, the UNC Minority Health Conference.
My fave.
It's a great conference. I've learned so much from that. But like, there was a student presenter or some presenter who flipped the data. So now your Black and your brown community is on top instead of, so they showed a different way of presenting it, and this was
just
years
showing
ago.
That the data's the same, but the
data can be the same, but it's just the way in which they talked about it was, I was like, I never thought about that.
The top of what? Like, how did they?
So it was instead of, and I'm trying to figure out the graphs or whatever, but you can have like a simple line graph and it shows like, this increase or whatever of people going or the line going up, right? And so like that increase a lot of times is good. And so it's usually, white folks increasing, whereas your Black, your Latinx communities, they're trending down.
Mm-hmm.
So they flipped it. And so like I can't remember exactly what they said. Like I said, it's been years ago. But like the white line, the folks that represent white folks, their line is trending down, whereas Black and brown folks, our line is trending up. And while the data is still the same, they talked about it in a different way. And so it's like, oh. So it's also, to me, it was also in the way that it's presented to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can go to 10 conferences in a year and literally say like, dang, I'm at the bottom of everything. Like people who are like, so it was just a different way of looking at it, which I respected. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
It makes me also think about how we talk about Black people or anybody who's a racial ethnic minority as if it's our fault.
Mm-hmm.
As if we are the ones who are engaging in the behavior that puts us at risk or has these adverse health outcomes. But if you flip that data, then you actually see that the system these policies are actually set up to benefit certain communities. So it's working well for the community that it's meant to work for, but not working well for others. And so it really is kind of putting the responsibility on the policymakers, the institutions who are creating these problems, rather than it being us who is actually really doing things in response to what you have created. Okay, so because we've been talking for a long time.
We have been talking.
So I want to make sure that we talk to them about Curated Clinical. I think we've kind of talked about it, but just like, what is the goal of Curated Clinical, and what can listeners, people who join Curated Clinical, what can they get out of it?
So what I would like listeners to get out of this is a comfortable space to learn more about clinical trials and how to understand the information that's being put out into the public about clinical trials or things that have been researched and how that is supposed to impact their lives. And laugh a little bit.
Definitely laugh.
Yes.
You gotta laugh.
And we have to introduce Frederick.
Frederick is Marcus's grown man mustache.
All right. So what I would say is, in addition to everything that Alex just stated, was, I want to see more Black and brown people in the clinical trial space. I think it's important, right? And I think that the researchers, these PIs that we're talking about, they need to see more in Black and brown people. I think we have a story to tell. I think we have a lot to offer. Clinical trials, and I think having a better understanding, dispelling some of those myths, and hopefully breaking down some of that mistrust that already is there, that'll influence or potentially motivate people to, or inspire them to at least look more into clinical trials, right? Because sometimes just the word itself, clinical trial, like, what are you doing, right? And I think we've talked about this, like, clinical trials can be something very small. Like, it doesn't have to be invasive. They don't have to go and do a biopsy.
But I know that's have to have cancer for
right.
it.
But sometimes that's where I immediately go. Like, when you think about a clinical trial, it has to be like TV. this whole thing. You said shout out who?
Shout out TV.
Oh yeah, because TV makes you feel like a clinical trial has to be this like
you gotta. It's for
huge
cancer.
thing.
After you've done all the things, clinical trials is the last thing you were supposed to.
And it's just like like. Oh, we have this clinical trial for this, like you have this form of cancer, we'll say that. And then, we have this new novel medication that came out. It's brand new. Like, this is your last resort.
Right.
So that's how people think about clinical trials. And I think it's so much more than just that.
So, I think the goal that I have for Curated Clinical is for people to come to us as a credible, well-educated group of people who have been involved in the research and clinical trial space for over 10, almost 12 years. And, to come to us for, any questions, advice, we're going to break down the science, the stuff that you hear in the news, break it down in a way that is easy for you to understand, coming from a perspective of people who have participated in clinical trials, participated in research, from people who have worked with the community and worked to build trust in the community, as well as, trained and given guidance to the larger pharmaceutical companies and researchers. So I think there's a lot of different perspectives, and we've also worked with community groups to make sure that they have a say on how clinical trials are done in their community. And so I think there's, multiple kind of avenues for Curated Clinical to not only benefit you, but also for you to kind of be engaged in the process. If we do bring, people who join Curated Clinical, can get the information and the resources, but also you can trust that if we're bringing a research study to you that you may be interested in participating in, that it has been vetted by us in a way, and that we are working with those researchers to ensure that it is something that is beneficial to you. I think the other thing that people don't really realize about clinical trials is that oftentimes it is a source of free medical care for people who are uninsured or who are underinsured. And it's a mechanism for income, but also that it contributes to our larger kind of development of new medical and social behavioral interventions that can benefit our community. And so that's why, we are really passionate about clinical trials and about research. And we'll talk about the difference between research and clinical trials in another episode. But just want to make sure that everybody's kind of aware that Curated Clinical is here for you. So, yeah.
I mean, I like what you said. It's a trusted resource,
We're going to do our best.